When President Lincoln enforced the Emancipation Proclamation, January 1st, 1863, it was to free all the slaves in the rebelling southern states, Confederate states. So for some reason, it took 2.5 years for the slaves in Texas to figure out that they were free. There's a couple of different theories behind that. Either A, someone killed the messenger, B, the plantation owners decided not to tell the slaves and continue using their free labor. And so on June 19th, 1865, General Gordon Granger marched in with the Union Army behind him, freeing the slaves in Texas. So that is Juneteenth. Emancipation Day celebrates the Emancipation Proclamation, but it's important to note that these slaves were not all slaves were freed with the Emancipation Proclamation. It was specific to the slaves in the Confederate States.
So, 1863, of course, June 20th, West Virginia Day, Wheeling became the center of the new state of West Virginia. We still had very much a Southern culture, and we came in literally as a slave state in a sense. It was to be gradual emancipation. Not everybody was freed. So there were quite a few slaves enslaved in Wheeling. Now, when you think quite a few, the population of Wheeling was definitely, smaller than it is today. There were about 100 slaves in the enslaved in Ohio County, but they were basically, to own a slave, you had to have resources. The poor did not necessarily own slaves. So therefore, the prominent families of Wheeling, you saw the enslaved all over the city of Wheeling. You saw them driving carriages, you saw them taking the children out for walks. If you went to a prominent family's home for dinner, the food would be cooked by the enslaved. They were very much part of cultural Wheeling, and it was a part of the society and accepted as such by a lot, but not all. Obviously, the immigrants coming in, the Irish, the Germans, they were not for slavery. So it was a very divided city way before the Civil War. I mean, it was a divided city. I can understand where Benjamin Lundy and a lot of other people who saw the slave auction blocks in other places, such as Abraham Lincoln, such as William Rosecrans, if you had any heart at all, you never forgot it. And it would change your thinking from day one.
So Benjamin Lundy, who was born in New Jersey, moved to Wheeling as a young man, training to be a tanner. He there witnessed a slave auction in downtown Wheeling, and it totally disgusted him. In 1815, he then moved to St. Clairsville and started the Union Humane Society, which was an anti-slavery society. And it began with 4 members. After 6 months, it became 400. And the Underground Railroad movement really picked up steam at that point because of him. Educating the public on the topic of slavery in this country is very important. I believe it fosters acceptance of one another. We need to accept each other's histories, ethnicities, accept our diverse culture. So celebrating Juneteenth, I'm very excited that it is a national holiday, and it should be. So therefore, we will continue to celebrate it every year as big as we can.